I kind of want to do it for you now. This question didn't specify which of the two definitions you should use. I prefer the one with the H, so I think I'm going to use the one with the H. So let me do that. So f prime of A, oh. Hey, I just thought of something. Does anybody want to share their screen and show their work? I mean, if you did it on a separate sheet of paper, that's not helpful, but like, any of you people that answered here, did you want to share your screen and share your work with the class? You could say no. Kenneth, I'm not sure if you're on an iPad or a tablet, but if you were, here's on paper. Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'll just do it myself. It's just kind of, I feel helpful if a student shares their work and then we look at it and we're like, oh, like this is where you made the mistake, you know? And then all the other students are like, oh, shoot, I made a mistake right there too. So, but that's fine. Like I'm guessing that both Jasper and Kenneth, I bet you guys forgot to distribute something, but let's check. Let's do this. So this is going to be the limit as h goes to 0. Instead of keep dividing by h with that one long line, if you'll let me, I can just write 1 over h. That's the same thing as dividing by h. And then I'm going to put in the a plus h squared. You know what? Let me write an extra step. Sorry. So this would be f of a plus h minus f of a. So this is just our definition, but instead of putting it all divided by h, I multiply by 1 over h. It's just easier to write. So then what do we get here? We're going to substitute. We get the limit as h goes to 0. You got 1 over h here. We're going to, everywhere where we see x, we're going to put an a plus h. This is going to be a plus h squared plus 3 times a plus h plus 2 minus, and I'd use parentheses for the second term because the whole second part is negated. A squared plus 3a plus 2. And then why don't we simplify that expression? So that's going to be 1 over h. We're going to have a squared plus 2ah plus h squared. We have plus 3a plus 3h plus 2. That's what I get when I expand this whole first part. Any questions so far? So I think, I mean, I don't know, but I'm wondering if maybe some of you forgot to distribute this 3. If you forgot to distribute this 3, that might give you the wrong answer. For the rest of it, it's going to be minus a squared minus 3a minus 2, like that. Okay. Now we all have a bunch of stuff canceling out. So we got a squared and a squared cancel out. We've got plus 3a and minus 3a canceling out. We've got plus 2 and minus 2 canceling out. So I get the limit as h goes to 0. We're going to get 1 over h. Let me pull out a h from the square brackets. You're going to get h times 2a plus h plus 3. Oh, I guess the 2 part comes from not expanding this part correctly. So then now you get that the h's cancel out like this. And we can take the limit as h goes to 0. So as h goes to 0, this part's going to 0. So you're left with 2a plus 3. Do that. Why do I don't really like how every question has the a in here. Let's change it. And if you already tried this classwork, I apologize, but I feel like we should have some that have numbers in there. So let's make this guy 1. So find f prime of 1. We're going to get the limit as h goes to 0 of f of 1 plus h minus f of 1, all divided by h. And that's going to be equal to the limit as h goes to 0. If you'll allow me to write this as just 1 over h in front, that would be great. I'm going to have 1 plus h over 3 times 1 plus h plus 2 minus 1 over 5 like this. Is there any questions about what I did here first? So this is my function. I'm going to insert a 1 plus h anywhere I see an x. So I do that there and there. And then anywhere I see an x, I put in a 1. So the numerator is 1, the denominator is 3 times 1, which is 3, plus 2, which is 5, like this. Okay. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this all under a common denominator. So this looks a little ugly. So maybe I'll simplify this piece right here first. Let me simplify that piece right there. Right, so that piece is going to be 3 plus 3h plus 2. So when I simplify that down, that becomes 5 plus 3h. Okay. So let's put it under a common denominator. So we're going to get the limit as h goes to 0. This is 1 over h. We're going to have a 5 plus 3h. And then I have to multiply by 5 because that's going to be our common denominator. And then we're also going to have a minus 5 plus 3h times 5. So what do I need to do to this first function? Well, I need to multiply top and bottom by 5. So we're going to have a 5 times 1 plus h. And what do I need to do to the top and bottom of the second fraction to get this common denominator? And you multiply top and bottom by 5 plus 3h. So you're going to have a 5 plus 3h here. All right, Luciano. I see your comment there. Well, let me show you how to do it. Does anyone have any questions about what's happening here? You know, I teach this class all the time, and I gotta say, like, the only part that's calculus is this first part. Like, once we plug everything in, all the rest of it is just algebra. So it's like calculus class feels more like algebra class, kind of. That's fine. All right, great. So let's continue with our algebra. So this is going to be the limit as h goes to 0, 1 over h. I'm going to put that giant line there. I have a common denominator of 5 plus 3h times 5, like this. And I'm going to distribute. So in the numerator, this is going to be 5 plus 5h. In the denominator, this is going to be minus 5 minus 3h. Any questions about about that so far? No questions. Okay. So what you see happening, and this happens over and over again, I think, is the constant terms kind of cancel out. And then everything that's left has an H in there. This guy has an H and that guy's an H. And that's really good for us. Why is that really good for us? Because then we can factor out the H. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to factor out the H. I'm going to get the limit as H goes to 0. There's an H on the bottom and an H on the top, which is great for me. What else do I have left over on the top? I'm going to have a 5 minus 3 left over on top. And on the bottom, I still have my 5 plus 3H times 5. Is there any questions? So the H here and the H here cancel out. And now I can take the limit as H goes to 0. So as H goes to 0, this 3H part is going to go to 0. So what we're going to have happening is you just have a 2 left over on top and a 25 left over on the bottom because it's 5 times 5. So I think the answer that we get is 2 over 25 unless I made a mistake. Does anyone see an error here? Okay. Linda, I'm curious, did you see where you went wrong? Or did I go wrong somewhere? We have a question. Why is 5H equal to 5? Where did I have 5H equal to 5? You mean right here, this part? Lou, are you talking about this part right here? So it doesn't become 5. What ends up happening is I have a 5H here and a minus 3H over here. And then because both terms have an H, I factor it out. And that H actually ended up over here. So that H moved to there. It's factoring. Does that make sense? It's like two H plus 7H is equal to H times 2 plus 7. You just factor it out. I hope that helps, sir or ma'am. Perfect, great. I'm going to erase this because I'm worried it confuses people. Or you know what, I should just use the actual numbers we have here. So I guess what I'm saying is if you have 5H minus 3H, that's the same thing as H times 5 minus 3. That's kind of what happened there. Perfect.